Okay, so let's talk trade deals, because I had a feeling that we were going to be the first ones. It kind of made sense that the UK was, it can't be Canada, right? Like the other, it's maybe Mexico, but they already have the USMCA, and also, uh, stuff's happening with Canada right now, so I had a funny feeling. And let's face it, probably you could figure out that the UK is probably going to be the first one, right? I'm not going to say capitulate necessarily or bend to the knee. Somebody put up a thing on Reddit referring to it as, it's not a trade deal, it's just ending a hostage negotiation. And I was like, oh yeah, kind of. But I don't know if it's like an agreement necessarily. I mean, trade deal, I think, is a strong word for it, considering that, I don't think that anything's like specifically been signed, or I think it's some people were referring to it as like almost like IOUs, like we're not necessarily doing anything, changing anything right now, but these are provisions or promises or agreements that we've made for the future or something like that. Let's take a quick look anyway. I did see that like Keir Starmer didn't go to America, I don't know, to do whatever it is, for whatever reasons, but so it had happened over speaker, and then, Trump did it in front of his whole media thing. I think it was really important for him, obviously, to make a big deal out of it, a big deal out of the deal, because he was saying like 90 deals in 90 days, where like since then we're at day like 20, we're beyond day 25, and this is the first thing that's come up. And obviously, yeah, he says things all of the time and stuff, but we do kind of live more and more in a world of pics or it didn't happen. So I don't know why all of a sudden we're just taking people's word for it. However, that is the world that we live in. Like if you're just going to take his word for it, so be it. But this is the first kind of actual physical, visual, or audible proof that anyone's had. So I'm not going to watch the whole thing because, but let's just have a glance.
I want to thank Prime Minister Starmer and his very talented team for their outstanding work and partnership.
Guys, he's reading.
Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating.
Oh God. Okay, so he can read. He can read. And he's probably not the kind of person to like learn the speech before he goes out and says stuff. Maybe he glances at it a couple of times. I don't think, he probably relies on, he just weaves. He just speaks wherever his mouth wants to take him usually. But then he also does have, he has auto cue sometimes as well, so he relies on that a little bit. And it's just, I have seen him read before, I have, but only like little glimpses of snippets here and there. This is actually him reading the whole piece of paper. Go on, mate.
Over the past 4 weeks, with this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade.
Sorry. And I'm not listening to anything he said. I'm literally not listening to anything. I was just like, oh, he turned the page. Why do I genuinely was just like, oh, look at him. He's turning the page because he's reading the page. I'm seeing him do something relatively vaguely, normally human. It's just like the tiniest shred of humanity, right?
But this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries, because it'll be really great for the UK also. So they're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed.
Yeah, you could tell when he stopped reading from the page because he starts looking up and talking around. He doesn't need to focus so much on what it is that's coming out. And you can tell when he's adding in his own language, right? I think this is going to be really great because this is going to be really great for both countries.
They're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed.
Okay. I would love to know in what terms he means closed. Sir. This is how we know you don't pay attention even to the country that you're dealing with, because have you heard what the people are saying? Britain. Do you feel like the country is closed? But there are a lot of places in England who are like, no, and we would actually like the country to be a little bit more closed. That's their opinion. It's not necessarily mine. But sir, I don't think the people would be calling this a closed country, okay? We're not going to be so open to be taking the chlorinated chicken and hormone beef.
The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved.
So the actual deal is a very conclusive one, but we will have the details on the deal in the next couple of weeks. It'll be written up in the next few weeks. It'll... Wait, what did he say? Verbatim.
Weeks will have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think
We'll have it all... The final details are coming up in the next few weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the deal is conclusive. Okay, so what he means is the deal's being done. Like, there is going to definitely be some kind of, at least agreement or future agreements or something like that or whatever. But the actual details of what exactly that will be remain to be seen.
just about everything's been approved. So good for both countries.
Okay, just before we get into Mr. Starmer there, or Sir Starmer, whatever. Just about everything's been approved. Probably not. I really can't see everything being approved. As far as I could tell, things like the auto industry, again, that one's just like, okay, do whatever you're going to do. Do you know what I mean? We'll send you guys some cars. What have we got? Rolls-Royce is the one that they spoke about in this, I think, and Aston Martin's, something else. And I guess then UK will have access to, or whatever, of Dodge, Chevrolet, Mack trucks. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about cars, so that's like literally as much as I know about both UK and US. But I'm just like, okay, whatever, do your thing. Like, I'm wondering if there's a lot of UK citizens who will respond just out of novelty. You know, America is sort of displayed to us in that sort of Disney World sense a lot. Certainly throughout, obviously, the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, early 2000s as well. And it is still now. It's just obviously we have internet, social media, so a lot of the world is more accessible. It's not just American media that's shown to us, right? Or that we have access to. But, you know, growing up for most of us, yeah, like America's sort of this Disney World sort of thing of, it's a little bit kitsch, it's kind of camp and commercial and corporate. I didn't have a problem with that. I've always seen it like, yeah, if I'm going to America, I'm going to go visit, I'm going to have the time of my life, because all of America is a theme park. That's kind of a little bit how it's portrayed to us. At no point was I ever really looking at America and going, yes, they are actually the best at everything of all time in the whole world. As I got older, I understood what it meant, the American dream, and I don't want to live in America or anything like that or whatever, but I do have my own American dream of just being there and meeting all of the people and eating all of the food and seeing all of the sights and just traveling, like driving 8 hours to get from one state to another. That's like crazy. That's like the coolest thing. I do. I love America. But it's kind of for camp and kitschy novelty reasons a little bit. So I wonder if, like, you know, cars being over here, especially things like Dodges and Chevrolets especially, yeah, I'm sure some British people will snap it up. We have our own economic crises for the longest time, all of the time. Just seems like the West is... We're not very good at this. We're not very good at capitalism. Actually, no, that's not true. They're really good at capitalism. I think people will want to drive, right? I myself still want my Chevrolet Camaro with yellow with black racing stripes, but that's just because I'm a giant nerd, okay? And I wanted my Bumblebee. And I don't even want to drive. I literally hate driving and I don't want to drive, but I still want a Bumblebee. Novelty. But things like, for example, the meat one, it's not happening. It's not happening in the sense that, you know, the largest majority of people here just won't buy it. We've had so many issues. I'm specifically talking meat, really, or agriculture. Nah, meat. We've had so many issues with that kind of stuff. We had our foot and mouth. I remember that when I was growing up. And then we had the bird flu summit or other. We had the whole horse meat scandal with Tesco's and horse meat and burgers and all of these kinds of things. And I think really that was like the sort of last nail in the coffin, as it were, because I'm pretty sure from then on, that's when we just, all of these tight regulations came in. I'm pretty sure, again, I'm remembering things as I've grown up, so I don't remember precisely, but maybe it's because I was paying attention a little bit more. But that's when I started seeing all of the stickers on all of the meat. So it's a sticker of where it comes from, and not 100% of the meat that we get comes from Britain. Like, as far as I can see, 90% of it does, and other stuff maybe comes from Europe or something like that. Sometimes we get things from Ireland, but it's clearly labelled on the sticker, and you look for the flag. That's what I was trying to explain to other people. Like, we literally most of us look for the flag so that we know where it's from, right? So if we're going to accept in meat from America, one of two things is going to have to happen. Either, number one, American meat is going to have to meet the standard of UK standards, including putting that label on it so that we know where it comes from. And I believe there's also farm codes and things like that, so you can actually trace your meat right back to the exact farm that it came from. And that's all for regulations because of foot and mouth and the whole horse thing and all these kinds of things. It's just necessary. Or if that's not the case, then American meat that comes here would be the only one that wouldn't have the labels on it and stuff like that, especially like the fresh meat and stuff, so we would know. Now, somebody else was pointing out, like, okay, well, what if what if restaurants use it and stuff like that, and we wouldn't know about it, or we wouldn't have to. That is true. Maybe a restaurant would try and sneak around and get some cheaper meat that way or something from America, and maybe we wouldn't know about it. But also we do have, pretty tight, heavy restrictions on restaurants and takeaways and things like that. I'm not saying, obviously, people are going to try and mess around with the system. It happens all of the time. Still, every single day, there's always somebody trying to get the most out of paying the least, right? Hey, we all do it. We're on a budget, okay? It's just, are you doing it with your weekly shopping, or are you doing it with people's health and safety concerns? It's sort of two different things, yeah. I just fail to see, for the majority of Britons, especially the core of the populace, the not 10%, because the middle class is shrinking. We know this. And that's happening, obviously, here in the UK too. Where it's a capitalism. It's catching up. People be arguing about that Marx guy all the time and stuff. Yeah, but he did kind of have a tiny little bit of a point. Just one tiny little bit of a point, though. Here we are,